It's our 50th show, so of course we wanted a guest that was going to blow you away. Someone who's in the community, that's important. Someone who's funny, that's important. And someone you guys wanted to hear on the show. We've been asking you on Twitter which guests you'd like, and this name keeps popping up.
I thought you were talking about me there for a second. Margaret Cho.
It was such a nice intro. You had to go ruin it with your pomposity.
We have Margaret Cho this week, and we have information that she is in P-Town because somebody twit-picked us last night.
Yeah.
A picture of him with Margaret. So we know where she is, and we're ready to chat it up, find out what's going on over there.
Margaret's on the line right now. Hey, Margaret, so you are in P-Town, right?
Yes, I am.
How's it going up there?
It's great. I love it here. You know, this is like the place that I come to. It's like gay paradise. It's like paradise. You know? It's like weird, though, because I'm in the woods. Like I'm in the deepest lesbian backwoods, but I can still hear house music, and I don't know where it's coming from. It's like really weird. There's like some kind of weird, like, Blair Bitch Project tea dance going on. I can't, like, you know when you can hear house music, but you can't find where it's coming from?
Right. Yeah.
And then you realize it's from your mind.
You almost sound a little bit like you're whispering as if you've had enough of the gays and needed a few moments alone in the house.
I've had it. No, I am actually, like, and I'm talking on a big old rotary telephone.
Whoa.
So maybe that's the weirdness of it.
Oh, wow. Well, we know one of our fans twit-picked a picture of him with you. I'm wondering, do the fans go crazy, especially in this day and age? Everyone wants to twit-pick. They want to send their pictures around.
I love it. It's fabulous. It's really sweet. And I think it's important. It's important to do that kind of stuff, you know, to keep what's happening in your life out there. I think it's amazing. But down here, it's amazing that you could actually send a picture because the reception is so bad.
Oh, well, he did twit-pick it, and you were looking very cute last night. Do you remember? Do you remember the two white guys, the two gay white guys that you might have taken a picture with last night?
I think so. There's a lot of them. There was a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. All right, so you're doing a bunch of shows up there, and then you're doing a nationwide tour kicking off the 26th, and then you have this new album coming out, Cho Dependent. And I mean, this sounds amazing. You're teaming up with Brantley Phillips and Ani DeFranco and Tegan and Sarah. Mm-hmm. How did you come to do a comedy album?
Well, I wanted to do this because I wrote a single. Like, I did a single a few years ago called My Puss, and I made a video for it, and it's like lesbian battle rhymes, and it's a funny song, and it was like really fun to make, and I thought, I want to do a whole record like this so that I can release this. I never got to release that as actually like a single, so I enlisted the help of people that I love, and they were all super down with it. A lot of comedians want to be musicians, which is something that I always wanted, and a lot of musicians want to be comedians, which is the weird thing. I never realized that part. So they were super excited. I was super excited, and we just did it all, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this track called Intervention with Tegan and Sarah.
Yes.
One of my favorite shows on A&E. It's loosely based on the show, right?
Yeah, because I'm obsessed with the show, but it's just I'm also obsessed with the whole culture of recovery and everything, and I think the worst thing that could possibly happen to you is to have an intervention. But you know, like, what is weird about that show is that people don't even know they're going to be intervened. Like, that's weird to me, that they don't know by now.
Especially, after all these seasons, do they not have televisions?
Yeah. Like, they've all agreed to be in a documentary about addiction. Who else is going to make a documentary about addiction for that show? Like, they must be really fucked up. You know, like, they must be so fucked. Like, that's fucked up if they don't even know that they're on intervention.
Can I ask you, do you have a favorite interventionist? Do you like Jeff Van Vonderen?
Well, Jeff Van Vonderen is good because he went out.
Yes.
That's my favorite, that he relapsed, so he couldn't say anything at the reunion. That's my favorite. I think the other one is hot. The one that seems kind of gay is hot.
Yeah, Ken Seeley.
Yeah, he's kind of hot. And then the lady, Candy Finnegan.
She seems drunk all the time.
Yeah, and she also looks just like Christopher Walken. So I'm always real confused.
Wow, a woman that looks like Christopher Walken.
Doesn't she? I go, that lady is Christopher Walken. I mean, I think Christopher Walken is amazing looking and great. And I like that lady, too. So it's not an insult. It's just an observation.
So have you yourself ever been part of an intervention?
No, No, I've never had to do that, and I'm also the most likely to be intervened. Like that's just because I'm the most fucked up of all my friends all the time. So I'm the most likeliest. But the thing about me and drugs and alcohol is that I don't want to ever stop doing it. And when you really have a commitment to wanting to get drunk and party, you have to not do it that much.
I see. Now, speaking of drugs and alcohol, perfect segue. Thank you very much. I saw you on Joy Behar a couple of weeks ago, and you were talking about Lindsay Lohan, and you said that a lot of her problems, you think, stem from being unable to deal with her sexuality, which Joy really, she was saying how she never thought of that before.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, if we look at Lindsay Lohan, I really think of her as a young lesbian teenager, which is basically what she is. And, she's just unable to deal with kind of coming out in a very public way. I think that would be hard for any kid. And people think of her as a lot older than what she is, and she really is just a child. I think that a lot of her issues probably stem from being gay, and I have a lot of compassion for her. And people don't really recognize that, and they're not really conscious of that, and they're also not thinking about how young she is. So I think she's doing good, and I wish her the best, and I hope that the community would get behind her and embrace her as a symbol of how we need to take care of our own, and I think it's really important.
Well, do you think the community takes her seriously? Because I think a lot of people don't see her as a quote-unquote real lesbian, and the gay community in general doesn't really embrace the idea of bisexuality.
Yeah, and that's troubling to me because I myself am bisexual, so although I think that's probably a limiting term because I have had relationships with transgendered people, so being bisexual is not really... I think that there's more than two genders, and there's more variety there. So, but in general, bisexuality is looked at as kind of a weird cop-out, but it's not. It is a totally legitimate. It's the LGBT community, and so they should be supportive of Lindsay and supportive of just this idea in general that bisexuality is part of our community.
So speaking of bisexuality, when you were starting your career in stand-up and then into the sitcom and all that, how did you deal with either being out or not out or half out or part out? Or
Well, my manager at the time, I was managed by this big agency, not an agency, it was like a management company, and it was like really big, and I was with a girl in Montreal, and there was a big comedy festival there, and I was hanging out with this one woman, and my manager at the time took me aside, and he said, I don't care what you are, but you, in the public light, are completely straight. You are so completely straight, and you've never, ever thought about women. You've never had a gay thought in your life. You are totally straight. And I was just like, so freaked out, you know, like, what the hell? It's so weird. And I was like 21 or something, and I was just really scared. And from that point, I really, I don't think I was ever closeted, but I just really was conscious of what may be said or what might be seen or whatever. But that didn't last for very long, because after a while, like, I didn't care. Like, I always wanted to talk about it on stage, and I always wanted to have it as part of my act. And, you know, so it didn't make sense to be hiding that. You know, that would be weird, because my work is so self-revelatory, and, you know, I talk about everything. It would be weird to not talk about that very important part of my life. And so I was really kind of told to not be that way, but then that didn't last. It didn't take.
So did the network, when you were doing All American Girl, did they tell you not to talk about it?
No, but they did tell me not to talk about drug use.
So drug use worse than gay. Okay, good.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we got to pick our battles. Because I also, at the time, like, I would just say whatever on stage, and by the time I was doing the TV show, I was kind of like being very, very upfront about who I was and what I was doing. They would send me memos and say, please, you know, you represent this company, and, you know, it was just really weird. And I'm like, I'm just talking about getting fucked up. Like, what the people in the company get fucked up, you know? Like, but they just don't, they didn't appreciate it.
Well, now you're on Lifetime, and your new show, Drop Dead Diva. You're filming it down in Georgia. Is that right?
Yes. And so for 6 months out of the year, I was living in Peachtree City, which was really difficult.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're probably not as open-minded down there.
No. Like you drive down the freeway and then you pass a sign that says actors and models for Christ. And you're like, I gotta get out of here. Like, it's really like, what am I doing? Like, it's really scary. Yeah, it's just super conservative. And, people are nice, but they will also argue to your face that you're going to hell because you're gay. Like, people are really kind-hearted until you bring up one of these topics.
Do you find they come and seek you out? Because obviously you're a public figure. People know your feelings on this. So you're just walking around and they're ready to get into it with you?
Yeah, they're ready to talk, but they're more like, they come at you like they want to save you. They come at you more like, well, you seem like a nice person, but you're talking about all this stuff and we have to protect our children. And it's like, what are you protecting them from? Like, this idea of gay marriage, needing to protect marriage from gays is so ludicrous. So I end up getting a lot of fights. So I had to move to Atlanta, which is very gay.
Atlanta's like the gayest place of the South right now, right?
Yeah. Atlanta's the gayest place, I think, in the country. Like, it's so gay. It's really fun. It's a lot like San Francisco, which I am very comfortable in. So I like it there.
Yeah, well, in San Francisco, you were actually deputized, as they call it, to perform marriages?
Yes, I can perform gay marriages in San Francisco. I can also perform them anywhere. I mean, I can, because I have, what is that degree, like a university, like, an online thing, like a Universal Life Minister card. So I got that too.
On this subject, we have a couple questions on Twitter. Drew Tab wrote to ask you, where should the California gays register now that Target doesn't want our business?
Do they not? I didn't know that about Target.
Yeah, they donated $150,000 to an anti-gay Republican.
That's just distressing. Like, why would it? To me, it is a money thing, and it's something that would create so much money for these businesses. Like, gay marriage would help the economy. It would really help, and it would make a whole group of people feel like they were included in this process. It would just be good for the country in so many ways. And so I don't understand why organizations would accept money, or they would like try to get money from someplace like that, or why these big businesses would give them money. That's insane. Yeah,
well, this is a little bit less of an economic question, but Malcolm Q. Ross on Twitter asked us, is Margaret's vagina still haunted?
No, it's been cleansed. Stage. I think it's okay.
I guess that could be an economic question in a certain way, right?
In a way, yeah.
Well, it's sort of on the same topic. Sarah Palin. Someone's asking about Sarah Palin. You hate her, but you also want to do her. Is that correct?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I just don't like her politics, and I think that I think she's kind of hot, but she's really horrible, and I think that she really grosses me out. But then I'm kind of like turned on by disgust.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes that makes for like the hottest lay there is, right?
Yeah, it's disgust.
Yeah.
So I think that might be what it is. But yeah, she's really gross.
So speaking of which, we can get a little personal, I suppose. Are you getting any action out there in P-Town?
Well, no. I have like I just got here, and so I have a roommate. We're constantly cock-blocking each other, and then I'm going to have another roommate. And then so I'm sure he and I are going to total cock-block each other for the whole, because my bedroom, you have to walk. It's like one of those Cape Cod houses where there's no quiet bedroom. You have to walk through somebody else's bedroom to get to your bedroom.
Oh, no.
A little railroad. That never helps the hookup.
No, it never helps. It's a cock-blocking situation. It's a cock block setup.
You guys should have done your research before picking this house, right?
Well, I know we should have, but now we're in the deep lesbian woods where all you can do is get cock blocked, and then you can't stop hearing house music.
The deep lesbian woods sounds like a horror movie to me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Bring a U-Haul to the deep lesbian woods
with the haunted vagina also there.
Yeah.
All right, Margaret, thank you so much for being on the show. We want to tell everybody the CD is in stores August 24th. Your tour begins August 26th. All the details at margaretcho.com. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
The Six Pack.